Good morning, sir. Today's the big day. Good morning, Lieutenant. When are we heading out? Our Rangers are ready, sir. I made sure of that. Whatever our orders, all we have to do is follow them and do our job. Alright, let's get going then. Ooh. Yes, leave town. Move to location. Shit, I think I chose the wrong. Oh my god. Okay. Here we go. Command room. Right. He said to meet up. I forgot. Everyone present? Good. Let's begin the briefing. The Freedom City Defense Force has fallen back to the city center. They're dug in around City Hall as of now. The 64th will spearhead an attack to break through their defenses. Our main force will follow them in and mop up. We need the remaining Ranzer squads to support our left and right flanks, while one squad needs to serve as rear guard. Gavin, you'll join Gale's squad and support our left flank. Something wrong, Captain? Lieutenant Greenfield, is it true you engaged the OCU against orders and put the lives of your squad mates in danger? How is that relevant, Gale? I'd like to hear the lieutenant's answer. We engaged the OCU to rescue a supply convoy, sir. So you admit it then. Colonel, I refuse to group with Lieutenant Greenfield. He admits he is incapable of making objective decisions in the line of fire. Will not put my squad at risk for this man. Think everyone here understands my concerns. We wouldn't have enough troops to support our left flank without him. My squad is enough, sir. The boy and his friends can come with the 64th. I'll make sure he doesn't get himself killed. Anyone have any objections to that? I thought so. That's all right with you, Colonel. Thanks, Greg. That'll do just fine. We march into freedom at 1300 hours. The enemy has nowhere to run. Expect heavy resistance. Good luck, everyone. Dismissed. Go to hell. Excuse me? Not you, boy. I'm talking about Gale. I'm gonna check on my squad. Make sure you tell yours not to get in our way. Sir. Heads up. We're moving out. What's our target this time, boss? Freedom City Hall. We always get the good ones. Yeah, but Gale's gonna be out there this time. As far as I'm concerned, he can go to hell. He might have been spec ops or something in his heyday, but he's not fooling anyone. I can see it in his eyes. He's the kind who'd pay for glory with the blood of his men. Whereas you'd pay for glory with the blood of our enemies. Isn't that right, boss? Hell, he doesn't care about glory as long as somebody's bleeding. Shut up and get to work. We don't have much time. Do they have something new to say? Back so soon, sir? Is there a problem? No, I'm fine, Sergeant. We've been placed under the command of Captain Demetrius of Hell's Wall. Our main objective is to punch through the OCU defenses and capture Freedom City Hall. Urban warfare is tricky, sir, especially against entrenched opponents. I know. Make sure everyone is ready, Sergeant. We'll need everything we can take with us. Will do, sir. Urban warfare? Nah, we'll get 'em, sir. Hale, what do you know about the 64th? I know that their rides are Frosts, the most heavily armored Rangers to date, and I hear each one is fully customized for every pilot, all the way from actuator balance settings up to the visor camera sensitivity. Also, in case you're wondering why I'm reading this so weird, one, I have dyslexia. Two, I have a microphone in front of me. Thanks, Corporal. That's more than enough. This will be my first time fighting in an urban environment, but I'll do my job, sir. Alright, I think it's time. No matter how many times you try, you're not getting past us. Wait, those red rangers, I've seen them before. No, it can't be! It's over. It's Hell's Wall. Alright, boys, we're clearing the route for those no-good regulars. Dave, get those pesky support vehicles. Rebus, Milligan, take out any rangers that get in our way. Me and Josh are going in through the middle. Gotcha, boss. No one gets in the way of Hell's Wall. You Aussies are going down. Gaggle seriously thinks they can get past us alive. We'll take care of them for good. Alright, let's get our squad. Also, between episodes, I did the unthinkable and actually prepared my Wanzers ahead of time. They now all have treads because I knew that we were going into the city and that we really didn't need to do lakes. Like, the treads seem fun. Now, there are limitations to treads, as I found during the OCU storyline, and that was... Oh, we actually take control of them. Oh, okay. Well then. I thought they were going to be allies that went on their own. Oh, shit. I'm not ready for this kind of responsibility. Alright, but yeah, so I gave them all, tank treads, because I like the idea of tank treads, and then also, Howard got Hornet arms, because I thought that fit his character the most. Grieg, what do you got? Empire Ibis, you are 100% short range, gotcha. Greta, you are melee, okay. Good to know. Let's use the hand rod. You missed. Milligan, what you got? You got... Okay, so you're melee and long range. Gotcha. Egret. Make him regret his decisions. Dave, what are you? Okay, so you're also a short range dude. Okay. Your melee, gotcha. And then you also have long range. Gotcha. Okay. Go Diaz. Oh, okay, not too bad. Bone him. Yes. Oh, shit. Oh, you missed. Man, I was singing your praises last episode, too. Good God. Also, they have shotguns now, which, if they all hit apart, is pretty devastating, which I think is pretty cool. They are, like... They kitted out with, stuff that I believe to be pretty good. Oh, look at that. Oh, hell yeah. Hand rod. Very nice. Let's see. You are brand new. And let's remove your arms. Damn, okay. Alright. You with the shotgun, you missed. Ooh, good job, Howard. Holy shit. 666, oh no. Alright, what do you... Okay, yeah, that's right. You're just... short range. Empire is a single fire, so is Ibis. Okay, he likes his rifles. And he also misses... Oh, he got that. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, they are the exact same accuracy. Shit. Okay. Oh, man. I'm gonna have to do some, rearranging of their forces. Egret. Okay, in the knees. That's fine, I guess. Empire! Ooh, man. His arms are almost down. Oh, they're trying to retreat. They're trying to retreat. Get them. Blast them. Roger, roger. God damn. Okay. How about you cut him off and hit him with a shotgun? Pretty damn good. All right. Hornet. And you missed. Okay. Smack him with the Ibis. Okay, you got his legs. Not too bad. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Rocket launcher him. Okay, not too bad. Dave, you are short range. Josh is melee. Let's let Josh get in there. Alright, not terrible. Not great, but also not terrible. Yeah, Egret, you missed. I'm gonna pull you back for a second. Man, they are just clumped up. Shit. They cannot, for the life of them, you know what? It's fine because they are, distracting the main force, which allows us to, get in there. Ooh, he's almost dead. Okay. Alright, Matthew. Yeah, get the support vehicle. Oh, you know what? I just realized. If we're able to, we can encircle them. That would be cool. Oh, you missed. Alright, can you please kill this dude? You... Oh my god. Kill him, please? I beg of you? Let's see. Egret. Oh my god. Yeah, just try to smack him. Yeah, you missed because you're in fog or smoke or whatever. Alright. Ooh. I might have to pull you back. Empire. Tona. Ooh. Oh, God, you missed. Y'all are getting scared. You're getting spooked. Okay, not too bad. You pull back, use item, repair your body. Alright, can you take that guy out? Okay, you got his legs, that's not too bad. Ah, you got his arm, okay. Come on. Nope, okay. He's got 2 HP on the body. Thank you. Johnny coming in clutch with the long-range attack. Okay, he's almost down. Yeah, just keep taking swings. Hopefully you'll hit him. Ooh. Okay, they're trying to pull back. Let's fire on the tank, because that is going to give us problems eventually. Okay, y'all are hitting it, which is good. Shotgun into the legs. Okay, not too bad. See if you can hit that guy. Ooh, pretty good. Hit him. Okay, you took out an arm. Not too bad. You are going to move up and attack him with the hand rod. Or you can miss. That's fine too, I guess. Oh my god. They're the best in the army. They take 0 casualties. Well, now it's going to be a first. Oh my god. Frost punch. Nope. Shit. Do a defense. Oh, your left arm's almost dead. That's not great. Why are they missing? Oh my god, the RNG for this fight is so bad. It's one of the most frustrating things about tactics. I think I talked about this during the OCU storyline. But honest to God, sometimes with like turn-based games, you can just get really bad RNG and you just have to deal with it. And I think it sucks extra bad when you're trying to do a let's play and like you'll sit there and you'll be recording for like ever, and you'll be trying so hard to make a good video out of something, but then it's just like you're getting bad RNG, and so your matches take Like your missions or whatever, you know, take forever, and they're just, you know, you're losing them so often. It's really bad. And so, like, sometimes you end up, you know, having to scrap entire recordings. I've done that a couple of times during this Let's Play. It drove me fucking insane. I swear to God. Oh, I'm gonna lose my shit. Well, Hale got a level up. That's good. Focus fire. Yeah, go around that way. Let's see how good a flamethrower is on the tank. Okay, 37. God, everyone's losing their left arm. You know what? Yeah, take out that support truck. If they can't repair, then they'll be stuck with their damaged mechs. They can't continue the fight if they haven't any spare parts. There we go. Jeez, now we're finally getting somewhere. God, it's like I wasted all of those fucking rockets. Ooh. Alright, shotgun him. There we go. Slowly but surely, we are wiping them out. Ha! You fool. You thought with your souped-up mech, you would be able to destroy us. Okay. Actually, I'm going to focus fire on the support vehicle. Because that thing should be out of commission since yesterday. Shotgun the tank. Oh, the tank is so close to being dead. Oh. Well, Matthew got a level up from that, so that's fine. Ooh, okay. It's almost dead. Just a bit more abuse it has to take. There we go. Look at you, Howard, getting the killing blow on that tank. Do these guys not carry... I guess they don't carry any items. Alright then. So we'll just have them, like, gang up on the tanks and then, or the tank and the last, support vehicle, and hopefully they'll be able to, take it out without any of them dying. Oh yeah, I guess they could still use items. Even if their arms are broken, they just can't use their weapons. Gotcha, okay. Alright, shotgun, and it's down, finally. Alright. We're moving in for the kill. Oh shoot. No, yeah, you can hit someone. Okay. I was like, man, they're they're in a bad spot. They can't hit anything. No, they can. It was right there. I just couldn't see it. Whoop. And let's attack you. Very good. We've got 2 enemy mechs. And then we have a tank and a support vehicle. And then this battle will be over. No! Ah, god damn it. Well, at least we're staying lore accurate. You know, their mechs are going to be heavily damaged. But hopefully they will not take any casualties. We like to stay lore accurate here on the channel. or really, I should say, here on the website. Because I'm making sure to update the website first. And then eventually these videos will maybe make their way to YouTube. Oh, the legs are gone. But yeah, so, oh yeah, I guess I should say what the plan is for these videos. I am planning on, getting these to the website first and foremost. And then maybe after a while, especially if I can figure out how to, like, schedule sort of updates to the website, then stuff will come out on YouTube. The coast clears, boy. City Hall, here we come. Mission complete. And I don't think we took any casualties. We just got busted up. Hell yeah, $10,000? I like that. I like the sound of that a lot. Freedom Battle Zone. I think we're good. Let's just move out. Don't leave untrained pilots behind during missions. Try to create an environment where they can earn extra experience and improve their qualifications. Yeah? Although, we haven't gotten to a point... Oh, shit. We haven't gotten to a point where we have any extra pilots. We did it towards the end of the OCU storyline. But even then, like, at the very end, it was like, hey, you have extra slots. So that's Freedom City Hall. It's bigger than I thought. Here comes the Aussies' main force. It's a weapon to surpass Metal Gear! They've come this far already. Have all civilians been evacuated? We still have a few stragglers, sir. We have a problem with the mayor. He says he has no intentions of abandoning the city. Then we stand by him. Listen up, people. We are the Freedom City Defense Force. Our job is to hold off the dirty statesmen until all civilians have been evacuated. Luckily for you, our main target is you, and not the civvies. We have... excuse me. We have standards, after all. You know what? Yeah, go this way, and then you'll bring up the rear. Yeah, I like this. I've got a plan. I've got a plan, Arthur. Let's see. Okay, so that's... Oh, there's a lot more than I thought. I did not survey the battlefield beforehand. It's fine. Because you know what we do? We bone them. Oh, shit. That did next to nothing. Oh, shit. Why are they doing so much damage? I am concerned. Fuck, we might need to, group up all of our dudes at one spot and then just, like, make a wall. Okay, the egret does damage. Okay. I'm not too terribly thrilled, but... God, they do so much damage to my guys. I think... so, this is just something that I've talked about in other Let's Plays. It, you know, it's with regards to, like, difficulty in video games. And how some games are better at handling difficulty than others. And something that I think about a lot, actually, even though I haven't played in forever, is the entirety of the Soulsborne franchise. Like, you know, like the first Dark Souls, for example. We'll talk about that one because I have the most experience with that entry. You know, it's a hard game, you know, and that's something that we can all agree on. You know, Dark Souls is pretty challenging, but it also has a very satisfying, you know, progression system is what I'm looking for. And it's like early on, you know, it may seem like, you know, oh, these enemies are just way too tough. It's not fair. But it's really all about, like, observation and understanding that, like, you know, this game wasn't made impossible. There's a pattern to it. You know, the combat system itself is almost like a puzzle you have to figure out. And, you know, damage, I'm pretty sure, for the most part, is fixed. You know, things do a set amount of damage, and then that is affected by a certain amount of defense that your armor has. And, you know, the thing with, like, you know, boss fights, you know, they seem like their moves are really intense and there's no counter to them. But in reality, if you take that, you know, step back and, you know, really look at, like, how they're moving, how do they react to, you know, certain phases activating, you know, like, there's a boss fight in Orlando. It's a tag team, and it's super intense because you haven't really dealt with a tag team up until that point. And depending on, you know, who you kill first determines what the second phase is like. You know, if you take care of the big guy first of all, they have different animations for, you know, if one of them dies and the other has to take over. It's really interesting. But you know, what am I trying to say here? You know, they have different approaches, you know. I forget their names, but you know, the one with the lion face, or maybe it's a wolf's face. I'm not 100% sure. Again, it's been forever since I've played Dark Souls. You know, it's you know, if you take him out first, then his much larger compatriot takes his lightning ability. They both get significantly larger. And they also get more powerful, but they also, their movesets are totally different. You know, for brevity, I'm going to use the names Peabody and Atlas, because in Portal 2 you've got two robots for multiplayer, and they're Peabody and Atlas. Peabody is a long cylindrical shape, and Atlas is short and round. And if you look at them and you look at the picture of the boss duo from Anor Londo, you'll know exactly what I'm going about referring to them. And that's how I'm going to refer to them. So yes, you do have required reading after class. I'm sorry. But also I'm not sorry. You should know. It was in the syllabus. But anyways, you know, Peabody dies first, then Atlas gets his lightning elemental, and is, you know, quite devastating if he is near you. He does have AoE attacks, and he's got like a killer rush, but he's still slow enough that if you are paying attention and you keep an eye on where he is at all times, you can counter those attacks. And because he has such a wind up or such a long recovery after the fact, that you know, you can take advantage of it. You have an opening. So if you are very used to, you know, the idea of slow moving enemies that have really wide attack windows, you want to take out Peabody first so you can deal with Atlas. And you know, that's perfectly valid. But if you go the other way around, if you take care of Atlas first, Peabody like grows exponentially larger. It's almost terrifying how much of a giant he becomes, and he gains that attack power, and you know, he becomes a lot more aggressive. He tries to go after you. He is absolutely devastating to go up against in a 1v1. But if you feel like you can handle that kind of a challenge, you know, that's open, and you know, he's got attack patterns that you can analyze and practice and like get used to and eventually overcome. Like the Soulsborne franchise is one that is not impossible. And yes, I know there's a whole discussion about in easy mode in Dark Souls and whether or not that, you know, takes away from the artist's intention with Dark Souls and Bloodborne and what have you. And I'm not going to get into the discussion. And if you try to open that discussion in my email or on the forums or In my guest book, you're out. You gotta go. I'm taking your ass to the curb, and I'm dropping you off there, and I'm calling you a taxi. Because we're not having flame wars. All right, you can take those to Reddit. I don't give a fuck. But you know, you can eventually improve at the game, and eventually you'll get to the point, if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can get to a point with the game where you take no damage from enemies. It is possible. It's a level of studying that of the game's mechanics, that you can do in order to, get that strong. They broke through her. Oh shit! If Krieg dies, the mission. Fuck. Oh, okay. Man, all right. Maybe I can get back to the base and see if there's better stuff we can do. Let's retreat. But anyways, but something like in Lego Star Wars 2, for example. Lego Star Wars 2 in the brain, work with me here. In the Death Star escape mission, there's a point where you have to build something to get out of a room, but there's an endless amount of stormtroopers just flooding in from these two doors. Now you can build up walls in front of those doors to block them, but they only last for so long until they explode. So if you're on your own, you have to juggle trying to build up this big thing as well as trying to build up the doors and try to fight off all the stormtroopers, because your AI followers do 0 damage to the enemy, and the enemy does 0 damage to them. And so, because of this, if you don't have a player 2, you have to get really good. And keep in mind, this is a game for kids. You have to get really good at knowing when to stop building before the enemy hits you, so you can clear out the enemies, rebuild the walls, get back to what you were doing. And if you're a force user in certain levels, forget it. There's no pausing. You let go, it goes right back to 0. And that is something that I talked about in that Let's Play, is like fake difficulty, or how in the Star Wars Battlefront 2, the elite difficulty just has all the units focus on you, the player, if you are near. They don't get smarter, they just focus on you, and that doesn't seem like a legitimate difficulty. And then you have stuff like, here in Front Mission. Now, keep in mind, I love this game. I love a good mech game. And Front Mission is definitely a good game. Don't get me wrong. It has its issues. The remake has its issues for sure. For a lot of its shine, it doesn't have the same punch as the original or the PlayStation version or the Wonder Swan or the DS versions, But because it is a tactics game, a turn-based game, there is an inherent reliance on RNG for stuff like your chance to hit, and whatnot. And because of this reliance on you know, there is such a heavy reliance on RNG. You know, you have hit chance, for example, you know, that causes issues. You know, you have a much better chance, like where, you know, like the grave, for example, you know, it is a you know, it's a machine gun, but you would probably be better off running a machine gun than something like a rifle a or you'd be better off running like an SMG versus a rifle or a shotgun or, you know, a flamethrower, because, you know, at least with something like a machine gun, if it's got a low accuracy, you still have a chance. You have a higher chance of at least one bullet hitting the enemy than you do having a single fire weapon, especially if it's a handheld rocket launcher or grenade launcher, of that hitting the enemy than you do, you know, something like the punching weapons or whatnot. And you know, it's kind of wild, honestly. Also, we do not have access to egrets. Okay, they just straight up have access to stuff that we don't. Defense, weight, name, price. Okay. So we are running. Okay, I was right. We are running the latest and greatest in bullshit. Okay. But you know, it's, you know, I'm having to go through and I'm swapping out these shotguns that, you know, I got because they have a high hit chance and, you know, can deal a high max damage, but I'm not hitting anything with them. And so I have to replace them out with mech-sized Uzis that, you know, overall have less accuracy, but when you fire the full amount, still has a higher chance of hitting the enemy than anything else, which is ridiculous. The fact that I have to go through and be like, okay, we got to take out shotguns and put in Uzis, you know, except for Reaver. You know, Howard's doing, he's doing the best he can, and God love him. You don't even get a good rebate with them, which is fucking insane. But yeah, I don't think you can even do setup on the allied ones either, which is crazy. Oh shoot, do we have to do the first part again? I hope not. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to run you through my new battle plan, and it's that we're just going to move up as a group and just have, like, saturated fire going, because there's no real good alternative. We're basically going to make sure that we all just go up together. I don't want anyone on their own. We got to move up as a unit, and we got to focus fire on each one of these dudes. Oh, and that brings me to why I brought this whole shit up in the first place. The UCS storyline. You go to select in, it's like for veteran players, and then you look up information about it online, and people are like, "Oh yeah, it's so tough," and it's meant for if you have like a really good grasp of the mechanics or whatever. But then you actually play it, and it's like, no, you just deal with enemies that have access to much better equipment than you, and you just have to deal with that. And then you got stuff like you've got dudes who are not really lore accurate. Like you've got access to Hell's Wall, and I don't know about you, but I don't think they're lore accurate when you have control of them. I also think it would probably be much better flow if, you were able to work alongside them and they were, controlled by the game. Like the game, had treated them like allied units instead of like in your command. You get what I'm saying? But it's like, they're not necessarily doing anything smarter. They aren't dealing less damage. They aren't, they don't have lower HP. At least I'm pretty sure they don't. They just have tough armor, and they deal a lot of damage, and you have to make do with what you're given. And I don't know. This feels like I'm ragging on the game too much, and if you think I'm ragging on it too much, then tough titties, Eat my ass and then say thank you afterwards. Because it's so wild that in the year of our Lord 2026, people feel like you have to love everything about a piece of media or hate everything about it, and you can't have a nuanced take. My nuanced take is that I think this game has a lot of bullshit in it, but also that it is phenomenal. Like, if I had any friends that were into mecha, and they were like, I want to try another mech game, maybe something that isn't, real time, like Mech Warrior. I want something where I can control a whole squad. I want something that is a bit more tactical. I'd be like, well, shit. There's front mission. There'll be times where you feel like you're gonna pull your hair out, and that's just an inherent I dare say quality of the turn-based strategy genre, where you have to deal with bad RNG. But I still think it's great. The story, while kind of, I will say the OCU storyline for a while there, focusing on Royd's obsession with finding Karen, can be, let's be honest, kind of stupid. I get that you want answers and whatnot, but like, buddy, you were in the military. The missing in action is or killed in action is a very reasonable thing to assume. But, you know, there's just, you know, it's kind of silly, you know? The OCU storyline, kind of silly. Royd's main character motivation, kind of silly. You know, meanwhile over here, you know, not saying that this storyline is much better, okay? The UCS, you know, unless someone who's been in the military and is like, no, yeah, the guy would get court-martialed for letting a helicopter, which he knew the guy was not going to be on, or was going to be on. You know, he didn't know that was going to happen, and so that's a valid thing to get court-martialed over. You know, unless someone clarifies that, no, that's a realistic court-martial right there. You know, I do think that's kind of silly. But also, you know, like, Kevin as a character, he is just trying to do his best. He's not really hung up on anyone. At least it's not so apparent. Like, I'm not sure when the UCS storyline was definitely written well after the first one. And, you know, I think they definitely got some feedback. And were like, hey, this characterization of Royd is kind of stupid. we would like a more sane character, a more well-rounded character. And they'd like, say no more. Also, holy shit, that mech did... Yeah, okay, he's just got a punch, and he almost one-tapped Matthew, which is insane. That's the kind of damage output we're dealing with here. And also the RNG we're dealing with here. Good God. But yeah, you know, like, I don't know what's going on under the hood with this game. I won't even begin to pretend that I understand what's going on within the code of this game that tells it what it, you know, should and, you know, should not do, and should it fudge the rolls a little bit, you know, to give the appearance of, you know, difficulty or whatever, you know. With something like Dungeons and Dragons, you know, I'm a huge fan of that. I played it way back in high school and even some during college. Oh yeah, Matthew's just gonna die. That's just a fact. Oh, look at that. He didn't. Oh, he is playing with death, though. He's flirting with it. Although he doesn't really die. I never really saw an option where it was like, your pilots permanently die for good. Because it's like they're all integral to the plot of their respective storylines. So, like, eh. But yeah, it's like, you know, something I mentioned with, you know, in my Let's Play of Ghost Recon Shadow Wars is, you know, the difficulty, quote unquote, in that game comes from trying to keep your entire squad alive. Because if you lose just one person, it's an instant game over, and you have to start the mission over again, unless you save. which is something I completely forgot was a thing until one episode where I kept losing, and I was like, oh wait, I can save mid-fight or mid-mission or whatever. And that just made my life a whole lot easier. And, you know, in theory, I could probably do that here too. But, you know, there's something about this game that feels like, to me, and again, I have no reason, you know, I have no evidence to support such a claim. But I feel like that maybe all of the attacks are preceded, you know, because I know that there are some games with RNG where you can start the game and everything is just predetermined, you know, like it does all of the rolls at the start, and then you just get to experience those pre-chosen rolls. And it's all like, ooh, it's RNG. Maybe if you saved and tried that again, maybe you'd get a different thing. But no. But of course, you know, at the very least, we see, you know, with the at the start of battles, you know, if you start all the way from the beginning, the outcomes are different. God, also the da-na-na, da-na-na, because everything is like, it's instant battle. It's driving me nuts. Da. I think, honestly, I might just montage this, because I've got nothing better to say. I ain't got anything else that's interesting. Oh, finally. Oh my god. Switch. We lost so many mechs in that fight. Is absurd. Erasing my microphone. Mayor, there's no one left to defend the city. You're still neck-high civvies, and I'd prefer not spilling any of their blood. Do you catch my drift? Damn you, statesman. Alright, you can do whatever you want with me, but you must swear you won't hurt any civilians. Man's honor, Mayor. God, that was such a fucking nightmare. At one point, I might put it in the edit. But at one point I did switch over to my computer and looked up like if Front Mission First Remake has its RNG predetermined, and I couldn't find anything definitive, so I think it was just I had bad RNG, which is awful. I did see a lot of stuff that was like, that like you basically have to run SMGs, because like while there's a lot of parts, they like spread a lot of damage, but as parts get destroyed, they get more accurate because there's only one part that they can hit, which I think is crazy. But you know, I was doing marginally better when I had everyone equipped with Uzis. Addressing all remaining OCU troops, this is Grieg Demetrius of the UCS 64th. We've taken your city hall and your mayor into our custody. Any further resistance is pointless. Surrender immediately. This is the mayor speaking. From this point forth, I declare Freedom City to be UCS territory. Any further fighting will not help anyone. Please, do as the UCS says. This is my final request as mayor of our beloved city. That may have been your best speech, Mayor. Mission complete. 5555555. Jesus Christ. 625 for the Big Mac? Are you kidding me? Good God. That, the unit repair cost is well over double the mission reward, but, you know, at least we have the kill bonus. God. Oh, that was awful. I hated that. Oh, man. I do not know what I'm gonna do about the rest of this Let's Play. Holy shit, that was bad. We have things under control here. You can go back to base and report to the Colonel. Hellswall will stay here and mop up. Yes, sir. What are you standing around for, eh? We've got work to do. Let's go kick those Aussies out of their rat holes. You got it, boss. They'll never know what hit them. Hey, Kevin, come to me when you got nowhere else to go. I'll make sure to have the boys put some scrap parts together for you to fight in. Thanks? What was that all about? I think it's the captain's way of telling us he likes us? I don't think I've ever seen Krieg take a liking to anyone like that. Maria! Congratulations, I hear you did pretty well in the last fight. Define pretty well. Thanks. I hope this victory means we can put a quick end to this war. Oh, what are you doing here anyway, Maria? Kevin, you were in the Black Hounds. You know I can't tell you that. Oh, true. Could you at least tell me what you were doing with Oh, no, never mind. With who? No, forget I said anything. Maria, do you have time to talk? I've been thinking about a lot of things since I left the Black Hounds. About the war and about you. Sorry for interrupting, Lieutenant, but Colonel Stewart wants to see you immediately. Oh, right. Tell him I'll be right with him. Maria, do you have time to talk later? I do have work to do, but... Come on, we haven't seen each other in such a long time. Just a few minutes? Alright, you win. I'll meet you here first thing tomorrow morning. Freedom City. We go to the command room to talk? Sorry, I'm late, sir. That's alright, Lieutenant. Our troops' morale is high with the fall of freedom, but this is only the beginning. Things will get a lot tougher from now on. I expect the OCU to be preparing a counterattack to reclaim their capital as we speak. We need to keep our eyes out for any signs of their advance. This is where you come in, Lieutenant. Your squad will patrol the La Costa Desert, our southeastern flank. You will follow a set course and report at each waypoint. Such a naive young man, that Kevin. Hope you haven't grown too fond of him. He is not yet ready. It'll be some time before you start to miss him. What are you trying to say, Driscoll? Nothing, my dear, nothing. I wish to ascertain that you will be fully focused on your mission, Maria. Have I ever let such trivial things hinder my mission performance? No, you have not. You're the best soldier I have under my command. You have my trust, Maria. Trust? That word sounds so hollow when you say it. Tomorrow, Maria. Tomorrow you will bring materials from the OCU as planned. Alright, and that is where we're going to end it. Thank you so much for watching. Next time on Front Mission First Remake. One thing I did find out when I was trying to figure out what the hell is going on under the hood. What's going on under the hood is almost exactly what happened, like what's going on in the DS version. So if you play through Front Mission First Remake and then decide to go play the DS version, however you do that, none of my concern. You access it how you can access it. But it'll like feel exactly the same. Now, granted, the DS version still has that classic pixel art, while the remake obviously is like, you know, got the high res pictures and the 3D models and all that shit. But like on a like purely mechanical level, they are basically the same, which is really interesting. But I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for watching. Next time on Let's Play Front Mission First, we'll be going on patrol. Bye-bye.